Divine Fashion Clothing, and welcome to my channel Divine Fashion Clothing. And I'm saying a big thanks to all my YouTube subscribers for liking my video, for sharing my video, for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you and God bless you. And also a big thanks to all my customer for buying and purchasing my pattern, for trusting in us, for helping us, for believing in us, and for making this our small business to move forward. And also a big thanks and appreciation to my testers. My testers, they have been a wonderful people. If not for God and them, I don't know, I'll not be here today. Thank you so much for helping me. Thank you for testing my pattern. Thank you for the correction. Thank you for the reviewing of the pattern. Thank you and God bless you. The bag you are seeing with me today is my latest pattern, and it is called Calla Bag. Calla Bag. The bag comes in two sizes, the big size and the small size. And the bag comes with a top design with a bow tie by the side, a cloth around the bag. The size of the big size, the height of the big size is 9 inches. The width is 12 inches. The base and the sides is 5 inches. And on the outside, it comes with two side pockets. Two side pockets on both sides of the bag. And it also comes with the top design, a clothing design at the top of the bag. There is a grommet. The grommet design around the top of the bag, which I used to achieve this bow design. And they come with a zipper closure, and on the inside it has a slip pocket and a zipper pocket on the inside. And it also comes with a long strap. It's come with a long strap. For the top design, I use a satin fabric to achieve this design around the bag. You can use a ribbon. You can use a ribbon to achieve this design, or you can use any clothing fabric that will match the color of the leather or fabric you choose. And you can also use a chain to achieve this design. The small size, the height of the small size is 7 inches. The width is 10 inches, and the sides and the bottom 4 inches. It also has the side pockets on both sides of the side panel. Also is zipper closure. On the inside, it also has a zipper pocket and slit pocket. Whichever size you choose to make, both sizes are beautiful and very adorable. You can give the bag to a friend. You can carry it to your workplace, to your office. You can carry it to outings. The bag is for everyday activities. You can see both the big size and the small size. They are very beautiful and adorable piece. You will see the pattern link on the description below this video tutorial section. God bless you as you are doing so. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will start with the 4 lower panels. On the wrong side of the panels, I will mark a line 1/2, half of 1 inches, which is 1.3 centimeter at the cuff area on the 4 lower panels. Please note, on the lower panels, we have two types. We have lower panel with raw edges. If you are using the lower panels with raw edges, you can skip this step. I will add glue, leather glue, to the mark line. You can use double-sided tape around the mark line on the 4 lower panels. Now, I will fold in edges wrong side together along the mark line. You can make a tiny snip as needed to keep the folding smooth around the cuff if you are using a thicker fabric or leather. Now, I will take 1 main panel and 2 lower panels, a mirror set. I will line up the straight edges of the lower panels with the side and bottom edges of the main panel. Both should be right side up. I will top stitch on the lower panels cuff with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance on the 2 lower panels. If you are using lower panels with raw edges, this is the step where you need to stitch the lower panel to the main panel. I will repeat the steps for the second main panel and the remaining 2 lower panels. I will flip the main panel to the wrong side and I will cut away the main panel within the stitching of the lower panel to reduce bulky. But if you are using a soft or tiny fabric, you can decide not to cut it out. But because I'm using a thicker fabric, I need to cut it out to reduce bulky. Now I will take the upper panels and the main panels and I will align the bottom edge of the upper panels to the top edge of the main panels, right side together, and I will sew with 3/8 1 centimeter seam allowance, which I have already marked out to get my seam allowance accurate. On the wrong side of the piece, I will press down seam allowance towards the upper panel. I will flip the piece to the right side and I will top stitch on the upper panel with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance. I will repeat step for the other main panel and the other upper panel. On the wrong side of the two-piece, at the upper panel top edges, I will mark 3/4 2 cm line along the top edges lengthwise. Attaching the base panel to the main panel, I will take one main panel and base panel, and I will align the long sides of the base panel to the bottom edge of the main panel right side together. I will sew with 3/8 1 cm seam allowance. I will press seam allowance down towards the base panel. On the wrong side, I will top stitch the seam on the base panel with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance. I will repeat step for the remaining main panel and the remaining sides of the base panel. I will take my base pattern piece and I will transfer the back feet placement from the pattern piece to the right side of the base panel. I will use the puncher to punch the placement for the back feet, and I will attach the feet to the base panel on the placement that I mark. To the piping strap, on the wrong side of the two strap, I will mark a line of 1 inches 2.5 cm at the on the short edge of the two strap, top and bottom. I will place each piping on each strap straight and center below the 1 inch space that I mark, both on top and bottom of the two strap. I will use glue or double-sided tape to fold the piping strap over the piping cord. Now, I will align the piping strap along the side edges of the exterior right sides together. I will sew on the piping cord with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. I will make sure the stitching starts where the piping cord starts and stop the stitching where the piping cord ends. I will repeat step for the remaining piping strap and the other side of the exterior. At this step, you can add the two main interfacing and the base interfacing to the wrong side of the corresponding piece. The main interfacing should sit just below the 3/4 2 cm line drawn on the wrong side of the upper panel. Note, I do not add interfacing to mine in these steps because it was hard to sew the gusset to the sides of the piece with the interfacing due to the string machine I use. Side pockets. I will grab the two side pockets and the two side pocket linings, and I will align the piece at the top edge right side together. And I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance on both side pocket piece. I will top stitch on the lining with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance by pushing the seam allowance down towards the lining. I will repeat step for the remaining side pockets and side pocket lining. Now I will push the side pocket lining down to align the bottom of the linings to the bottom of the side pockets, wrong side together, and I will sew around with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. You can use double-sided tape to hold the piece together by not sewing around the piece. Also, at the top edge of the side pocket panel, I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance on the right side. Now, the side panel. I will take the two side panel and the two side upper panels, and I will align the bottom edge of the upper panel to the top edge of the side panel, right side together, and I will sew with 3/8 1 cm seam allowance. On the wrong side of the side panel piece, I will press the seam allowance down towards the upper panel, and I will top stitch on the side upper panels with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance on the right side. On the wrong side of the side panels, I will mark a line 3/8 1 cm around the panel, excluding the top edges. And at the top edges of the side panel, I will mark 3/4 2 cm line down on both side panel piece. And now I will add the side interfacing to the side panel, wrong side together and center. Now I will place side panels right side up and place the side pockets wrong side down over the side panel. I will clip around to hold down. I will bastay around the piece together with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance. I will make sure the bottom edge of the two pieces align, and I will line up the side edges of the pocket lining with the side panel. Doing this, the pockets should bulge outward a bit but still line up properly. Attaching the two side panels to the two sides of the exterior right side together. Make a small snip within the seam allowance as needed to ease around the curve to avoid bulky seams while sewing the side panel to the piece. Now, I will notch the center bottom of the side panel, of both side panel. I will also notch the center side of the base panel on both sides. Make sure you trim all seam allowance, notch curves where necessary to avoid bulky seams while sewing the side panel to the piece. I will align the notches together and I will clip around the side panel to the side of the exterior, starting from the bottom of the side panel and the base. I will fold the piping strap at 90-degree angle 1/2 1.3 cm down from each end of the main piece. The excess strap on the piping will be out. Now I will sew the side panel together with the exterior around the edges with 3/8 1 cm seam allowance. I will trim all excess strap I have pulled out on each side of the piping, and I will repeat the step for the remaining side panel and the other side of the exterior. I will turn the piece to the right side and I will attach the two interfacing and the base panel to the wrong side of the corresponding piece. If you have already added interfacing in the previous step, you can skip this step. So the connectors, I will mark a center line down the length on the wrong side of the connector strap. Also to the handle panel, I will mark a center line down the length on the wrong side of the two handle straps. I will add leather glue or double-sided tape to the wrong side of the connectors and the handle strap, and I will fold in each long edges to the center line. I will set the connector aside when I'm done with the folding. I will repeat step for the two handle strap. I will leave a space of 1/2 before I started folding for the sewing allowance. Now I will slide in 2 O-rings or D-rings on each short end on both handle strap, whether I decided to use O-ring or D-rings. Anyone you choose to use is okay. And I will align the short end right side together. I will sew each short end with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance, both handle strap. Now I will open the seams and fold the long edge back to the center. I will make sure I cut out the corner of the seam allowance to reduce the bulky before folding the edge back to the center. I will now fold the handle strap wrong side together. The strap now should be 20 inches, 50.8 centimeters long. I will make sure the seams on the strap will be at the center, and I will push the O-ring or D-ring to each end of the strap, and I will clip, and I will hold it with clip. I will top stitch the straps with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance around all sides, and I will make sure I sewing as close to the O-rings or D-ring as I can. On each side of the handles, I will insert a connector through the O-ring or D-rings. I will fold the connectors in half, wrong side together, and line up with the raw edges, and I will clip to hold. I will repeat this step for the remaining handles and the remaining connectors. Also, to the two extra connectors that remain, I will fold the edges wrong side together, and I will clip to hold down. I will set this aside for now, both the handle strap and the connector. Over to the interior, I will take the slip pocket and I will fold it top to bottom, right side together, and I will sew on the sides with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance on both sides. I will turn the slip pocket right side out. And I will place the slip binding right side together along the top edges, and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. I will fold the binding up over the raw edges, and I will top stitch on the right side along the seams. I will make sure I catch both sides in the stitches. I will cut off the excess strap on the binding to match the pocket sides. Now, I will take one main lining and I will notch the center top edges, and I will also get the center of this slip pocket. I will place the main lining piece right side up, and I will place the slip pocket right side up and center. At the top edges, I will leave a space of 1 inches 2.54 centimeter space at the top of the main lining, and I will sew around with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance on both two sides and the bottom of the slip pockets. I will set this aside for now. I will take the second main lining and I will also notch the center at the top edges. I will place the lining right side up and I will place the zipper overlay right side up in the center of the lining, and at the top of the lining I will leave a space of 1 inches 2.54 centimeter space at the top. I will sew around the outside of the zipper overlay with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance together with the lining. I will use the zipper overlay opening to cut out the opening in the lining, and I will set aside when I'm done. Now I will take my zipper tape and the two zipper pocket lining. I will insert my zipper pull to the zipper tape. I will place one zipper pocket lining right side up, and I will place the zipper tape right side up on top. I will make sure the top edge of the tape and the lining match. They align, and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 centimeter seam allowance at the top edge. I will repeat step for the other edges of the zipper tape and to the remaining zipper pocket lining top edges. Now, on the wrong side of the pocket lining, I will open away from the zipper to hold down by sewing around by top stitching. You can use double-sided tape to hold down instead of top stitching around. The zipper is right side up and the pocket lining is wrong side up. Now, I will place the zipper overlay pocket opening over the zipper right side up, and I will center it. I will keep the pocket piece open. I will sew around the zipper window with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance. I will make sure the zipper point is out of the way while I sew the piece. I will flip the main lining to the wrong side, and I will match the zipper pocket lining right side together, and I will sew the pocket lining from one side to the bottom across to the other side with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. Now I will trim off the extra as needed at the bottom of the zipper pocket lining. I will now set this aside for now. Our zipper pocket is ready. The next is the zipper plisket. I will grab the 4 zipper plisket piece, both the 2 linings and the 2 exteriors, and I will mark a line of 1/2 1.3 centimeters in on the wrong side of the short edge of all the pliskets. At the top edges of the main zipper tip, I will fold at 90 degrees 1 inch space, and I will use lighter to burn the folded edge. You can stitch to hold the folded edge down. I will do this to both sides of the zipper tip. I will now separate the zipper tape into two. Now I will place one zipper plasket lining right side up. I will make sure the folded edge will be on the left side and facing down, and I will place one zipper tape right side up over the zipper plasket lining. I will align the long edges together, and I will now place one zipper plasket exterior wrong side up over the zipper tape. The folded edge on the zipper plasket should line up, and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. I will sew along the short unfolded edge of the zipper plasket and along the long edge with the zipper tape. At the top edges of the zipper plasket, I will leave a space of 1/2 1.3 cm below the zipper tape, and I would start to sew at the top edges with 1/4 0.3 cm down to the length of the zipper plasket. Now I will turn the zipper plasket right side out, so the zipper tape will be outside and the lining will be the lower case, and I will top stitch from the short end top to bottom with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance. I will repeat this step for the remaining zipper tape and the remaining zipper plasket, both the lining and the exterior. Now I will notch the middle of the two zipper plaskets at the raw edges by folding it into two equal parts, and I will set it aside for now. I will take the two upper lining, and at the top edge I will mark 3/4 line 2 cm down the length at the top of the upper lining. I will take now the main lining with zipper pocket, and I will place the notch area of one zipper plasket wrong side to the right side of the notch lining. I will make sure the notches on both zipper plaskets and the main lining align. Then I will place the bottom edges of the upper lining panel right side together with the main lining top edges. I will make sure the edges of the 3-piece, both the main lining, the zipper plisket, and the upper lining align together. You can also decide to get the center of the upper lining to make sure that the notches of the 3-piece align together at the edges. I will sew the 3-piece together with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance down the length of the upper lining. I will turn the piece to the right side and I will top stitch along the main lining with the seam facing down towards the main lining. I will top stitch with 1/8 0.3 cm seam allowance. I will repeat this step for the remaining main lining, the other zipper plisket, and the remaining upper lining. Now I will place the 2 completed lining panel right side together. I will make sure the top edges align, the 2 sides of the 2 lining align, and the bottom of the 2 lining align together. And I will sew with 3/8 1 cm seam allowance on the 2 sides and the bottom of the piece. And now I will match the square area at the bottom of the piece together, and I will sew with 1/4 0.6 cm seam allowance. I will make sure the center seam on the sides and the bottom align together while I sew. At the marking line of the top edge on the upper lining, I will add leather glue or double-sided tape to the mark line around the top edges of the upper lining on the wrong side, and I will fold in the top edges to meet the line mark, and I will set aside when I'm done. I will also repeat this step for the main panel. I will fold in the top edges around the line mark on the main exterior. On the exterior bag, I will locate the center of the front and back along the top folded edge, and I will mark 2.5 6.4 centimeter from the center on each side of both front and back. You can do this by placing 2.5 at the center of the front and back. Then you will mark at 1 inches and also mark at 5 inches on both sides of the bag, front and back, using erasable marking pen or an air erasable pen. The marking should be made on the inside for the handle placement. And if you have not added your interfacing in the previous step, you can add your interfacing in this step. I added my interfacing in this step. I will also mark the center of the side panel at the top edge on both sides. Now I will insert the completed lining bag into the completed exterior bag, wrong side together. I will make sure the lining fits with the bag, ensuring the centers match up before placing my handles. After I have confirmed that the lining fits with the exterior, I will take the 2 extra connectors for long handle strap and I will set it at the center, at the top edge of the side panel, in between the exterior bag and the lining on both side panels top edges. Also, I will take the handle piece and I will insert the edges of the connectors in between the exterior bag and the lining. I will place it outward of the placement I mark for the handle. On each end of the handle, I will repeat this for the front and back side of the bag. I will be careful so that the handle will not be twisted when placing them. I will repeat the same process for the remaining handle to the other side of the bag. Now I will sew around with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance. I will make sure the zipper tape is out of the way while sewing the entire piece around. I will be gentle with it because of the type of machine I am using. If you have gotten to this step, well done, you have done a great job. The bag is almost ready. I will grab the upper panel and side panel pattern piece, and I will transfer the eyelet placement to the right side of the upper panel of the piece on both front and back and to the side of the bag. I will make sure I fold in the allowance, the sewing allowance at the top and at the side of the pattern piece to get the grommet placement done. Using the air erasable marking pen in achieving this step. Now I will center the grommet on each marking to draw out the shape with erasable marking pen. The size of the grommet I use is 1/2. You can decide to use 3/8 grommet. It will be okay for both the big size and the small size. After I'm done drawing out the shape of the grommet, I will place each shape area on the pressing machine and I will press to make an O. I'm using a punch plier here due to the size of the grommet I use. If you are using a bigger size of grommet, you will need to use the big punch and press for rivets or grommet. I will now install the grommet into the O according to the manufactured instruction. I will repeat this step for all the 16 grommet placement that I mark. This is how the grommet should look like when you are done installing all the 16 grommet around the top of the bag. I will cover the grommet with cover plate and I will take to my punch and press machine and I will punch according to the manufactured instruction. It depends on the type of grommet or eyelet you are using. You need to make sure you follow the manufacturer instruction. I will repeat the process for all the 16 grommets around the bag. At this step, I'm very happy to see how the bag turned out to be beautiful and adorable. Over to the long strap. I will mark a center line down the length on the wrong side of the long strap panel, and I will fold each long raw edges to the center mark and I will clip in place using double-sided tape or leather glue. I will then fold in half again the strap will now be 3/4, 1.3 centimeters wide, and I will clip around. I will top stitch all around the strap with 1/8 0.3 centimeter seam allowance. I will thread one end of the strap through a slider over the center bar and pull it from the other opening. The fold will be wrong side together on top of itself. It will be folded wrong side together on top of itself. And I will use rivets to secure in place. You can decide to sew 2 horizontal lines of stitching to secure, or you can decide to add a rivet. I will now press with punch and press machine to hold down. I will slide a swivel hook onto the strap through the other end, and I will thread the other end of the strap through the slider again, covering the loop I have secured before. I will slide the remaining swivel hook onto the strap from the end, and I will fold the end wrong side together over to itself around the swivel hook, and I will use a rivet to secure. You can decide to sew 2 horizontal lines of stitching to secure it, or you can use a rivet to secure it. The long strap is ready to be used. To the fabric design, I don't want the video to be too long, so I didn't make video of the fabric design. You can check the pattern piece to get how to make the fabric design. It's very simple. You will just, after you have cut out the fabric design, the length, you will fold wrong side together, and you will make a little curve on both ends of the fabric. Then you will sew down. You will leave a little space for turning out, and then you will turn it out, and you will sew back the space that you have left. Now, starting from the right hand side of the bag, I will insert the fabric into the right grommet on the side panel from the right side. Next, I will thread the fabric through the next grommet from wrong side to right side. I will weaving the fabric in and out of the grommet until I return to the side I started from. I will now tie the remaining fabric into a bow or any design, or you can just leave it anyhow you feel like. You can decide to use chain, the size of chain that will pass through the the size of eyelet you use to design the top of the bag. It is not necessary you use a clothing fabric. You can use a ribbon to achieve this design. At this step, I will say a big congratulations to you for making a cute and adorable, a beautiful bag. I will go ahead and I will insert the long strap to the side connectors. I'm very happy and excited to see how it turned out beautiful. So our Calla Bag is now ready. This is the big size of the Calla Bag. You can see how cute and beautiful, adorable. I added 2 rivets on each end of the handle on the big size bag just to design the handle. You can decide to leave the handle like that without adding the rivets. Thank you so much and God bless you. Bye bye. Don't forget to purchase your own pattern. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.